So let's look at, by way of introduction, we're saying that personal development is vital in the life of every human person. That is a very simple statement, that personal development is vital in the life of every human person. Through personal development, individuals are able to meet their life goals and live happy and fulfilled lives. So once we're able to develop our lives, we're able to meet our goals, and if we meet our goals, we live happy and fulfilled lives. And these words are very important to all of us. Live happy and fulfilled lives. If you're in this world and you're not happy, you know what it means. So our goals here is to see us happy and fulfilled. Personal development is a journey of highs and lows, a journey of pleasant traits and unpleasant traits, a journey formed by different personal and environmental factors. So personal development is not just an episodic act. It has its own highs and lows, its own ups and downs, and we know all the different factors that come in to shape us as human beings. We have different voices shaping us, different environmental factors shaping us, and that's why I say that we have the lows and highs, pleasant traits and unpleasant traits. All these things come together to make who we are. This lecture looks at personal development in the context of Abraham Maslow's motivation theory of needs. This theory has a lot of influence on one's development. And so knowledge of such needs can help and influence one's personal development. And that's what we're saying, that if you know the basic needs of, or these needs of Abraham Maslow, they can have a lot of influence on our personal development. That's what we are saying. The theory of needs. Abraham Maslow's theory of needs is a motivation theory comprising a 5-tier model of human needs. And these are often depicted as a hierarchical level within a pyramid. We know what a pyramid is. So they are depicted as a hierarchical levels within a pyramid. We'll get it, you see what they are. From the bottom up, the needs are physiological needs, security and safety needs, love and belonging needs. Please, that word love there is love. Love and belonging needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. So originally, these needs, there are 5. In modern times, modern scholars are trying to add to it. They've added some 2 levels to it. But we want to concern ourselves with the 5 levels for now. Initially, Maslow said that needs lower down in the hierarchy must be satisfied before individuals can attain to needs higher up. So initially, Maslow said that no, if you're able to fulfill the lower needs, there's no way you can fulfill the higher needs. Later on, he made a clarification that satisfaction of a need is not an all or none phenomenon. That sometimes you may not meet some need, but you may be able to climb up. So he made some clarification, because you can't meet all the basic needs. And some of them may not meet all the needs, but may jump to meet some of the higher needs. And so he's saying that you cannot meet all the needs in 100% way. You miss all the lower needs, sometimes you can't meet them. So they are not a one or none phenomenon. So that's what Maslow later on said. That is what we are seeing. That's a pyramid. At the base is what we call the physiological needs. Very soon we'll get to know what they are. The second one after the physiological needs are the safety needs. Then after the safety needs, you have what we call the social needs. Call them social needs, or love and belonging needs. Then from there, you move up higher to what we call esteem needs. Esteem needs. Then up higher, you go to what we call self-actualization needs. So according to Abraham Maslow, the one in red, physiological needs are what we call the basic needs or the survival needs. The safety needs and love and belonging needs and self-esteem needs are what we call, no, physiological needs and safety needs are basic. The love and esteem are psychological needs. Then the self-actualization needs are the growth needs. We'll get there very soon. Then I have another pyramid here. Let's look at some example of physiological needs, that the basic needs. Even before we explain, you can have examples down there. Breathing. It is as basic as anything. You can't be a human being and say you don't breathe. You will die. Food is a basic need. Water is basic. And surprisingly, sex makes up the ladder of basic human need. Then sleep. Sleep is so basic. Sleep, they're all basic. Homeostasis is basic, and excretion are basic. So we have more, we'll add more. Let's jump out to safety needs. We have security of body, employment, resources, morality, the family, health, and property. Everybody wants to be secure in terms of our body. We don't want, if you're in a car and the car gets the pothole, you see how you behave. Hey, you are afraid because of the security needs. Everybody wants to secure some employment. We'll explain these ones in detail. Then we have the love and belonging. We've got the social needs. You have friendship. You have family. You have sexual intimacy. So what do you ask? Down there, you have sex. Then love and belonging. You have sexual intimacy. So I may ask a question there. Who wants to ask a question? That what's the difference between the two? There are differences, we will explain them. Esteem needs. We are looking at self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others. You respect others, others respect you. These are esteem needs. And the last one there, we call them self-actualization needs. Morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, and acceptance of facts. These are the highest and the growth needs. Once you fall there, you are going to live a fulfilled life. That is a pyramid. Now, let's get into detail. This another pyramid. Before we go into the individual needs, Abraham Maslow made a distinction between deficiency needs and growth needs. Among the 5 levels, he made a distinction. The first 4 needs, he called them deficiency needs. And the last one, he called it growth needs. What is he saying? He's saying that the first 4 levels are often referred to as deficiency needs, D needs, and the top level is known as growth or B needs, B needs. Deficient needs arise due to deprivation and are said to motivate people when they are unmet. When you are hungry, you are motivated to look for food. When you are deprived of food for a longer time, you are motivated to go for food. I hope we all remember a man called Charles Darwin. He proposed a theory called the survival of the fittest. the natural selection that as we grow in the face of scarcity, there's competition over the few things we have. We will fight, kill ourselves, and those who are strong will take the food and eat. So he's saying that these needs, the ones he called the D needs, the D needs arise out of deprivation. So when you deprive something of somebody of these needs, okay, they find a way of getting them. And this in some way will explain the increase in crime in some societies. When people are hungry, they need to eat. When people are not able to meet their basic needs, they will need to eat. What would they do to satisfy these needs? They may resort to criminal behavior. When the structures are not working, they may resort to criminal behavior to ensure that these needs are met. And that will give rise to criminal behavior in our societies. If you do not provide your children with the basic needs, if you deprive them of basic needs, they will go ahead and do what is socially reprehensible to ensure that these needs are met. So let's take note of that. The basic needs, without them, you can't survive. We'll get it. Growth needs do not stem from a lack of something, but rather from a desire to grow as a person. So the higher needs, oh, somebody. Rena, so the growth needs. Rena, mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey,
everybody are praying, yo.
Yes,
take them off. They don't know they are disturbing us.
Don't mind them, and they're speaking in tongues. Whether they're speaking in Rama or they don't even know. They say rat-tat-tat-tat. Don't mind them. Let's go on.
Are you taking them off?
Yes, I'll muted them.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue. So once these goods needs have been reasonably satisfied, one may be able to reach the highest level called self-actualization. Let's look at this very well. So if you're able to meet the higher needs, then you can get to what we call self-actualization. We'll get it. Let's look at the physiological needs. These are basic biological needs without which human survival is threatened. Please, let's take the words there. These are basic biological needs without which human survival is threatened. These needs include air, breathing, water, drink, food, sleep, and some of us will deprive ourselves of sex, warmth, shelter, these ones. If you don't meet these ones, we will see what will become of us. For instance, the last time when I was giving a lecture on sleep, I said that you should never trade sleep for any other thing. Because without sleep, you will have a lot of problems, both biological and psychological. Without food, you know what will happen to you. Without water, you know what will happen to you. Without the air, sex itself is important there. Warmth is important. Everybody needs warmth, shelter, and all these are basic needs. And we are saying that if these needs are not satisfied, the human body cannot function optimally. The word here is optimally. If these needs are not satisfied, the human body cannot function well. And you know it yourself. If you don't sleep well, if you don't eat, you don't have this, you cannot make it. You invite a whole lot of sickness to yourself. So Maslow considered these needs the most important, as all the other needs become secondary. So for Abraham Maslow, the physiological needs are very important, and any other needs is perhaps subordinated to these needs, because all the other needs were built on these ones. All the other needs were built on the physiological needs. These are basic needs. And we're saying that these needs are more or less called survival needs. You need them to survive. You need them to survive. And in our case, the modern world itself leads to sleep deprivation. It's one single thing I want to single out to talk about. We spoke about it the last time. Most of us, because of work, we want to deprive ourselves of sleep. Most of us, because of the mobile phone, we will stay up the night and chat. We are not being charitable to ourselves. We are causing a lot of damage to both our physical health and our mental health. And long periods of sleep deprivation will lead to some form of amnesia, loss of memory. Because you remember, our brains the brain cells repair themselves through sleep. The body itself repairs itself through sleep. And we need to be very careful how we treat our bodies. We are not sleeping enough, please. And sleeping enough is not just lying on bed for 9 hours or 10 hours. You can have 10 hours of sleep and you didn't sleep well because you've not prepared yourself for sleep. That is for another day. We'll talk about it. Safety needs. As we move up to the second level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the requirements start to become a bit more complex. At this level, the needs for security and safety become primary. Every human being has what we call the survival instinct. We have the need to be safe, the need to be secure. So people want control and order in their lives. And that's why if you live in a country where somebody is being murdered, everywhere there's an accident, everywhere they have shot somebody, you are afraid. What is happening in the country? You get up tomorrow, there's a murder case. Tomorrow they have shot somebody here, someone has been kidnapped. You question the security of the system. And you are afraid already. But you don't know where the next time it will be you. So we have the safety needs. So this need for safety and security contributes largely to behavior at this level. Some of the basic security and safety needs include financial security. Ask yourself, days when you don't have money, what happens to you? What happens to you? Days that you don't have money. Now why basa? So how do I eat? How do I meet my economic needs? Again, basa. But health and wellness needs. These are security needs. If you are sick, what happens to you? If you are sick, what happens to you? We have safety against accidents and injury. Safety against accidents and injury. That's also important there. Then finding a job. That's why the unemployment issue has become so big. Unemployment. If somebody doesn't have a job, they're in trouble. So they are not secure. Obtaining health insurance and health care is part of it. Contributing money to a savings account. Ask yourself, if you get money and you eat all the money, what happens to you? So as a way of security, you want to have some savings somewhere. These are part of our safety needs. And the other one here is what? Moving into a safer neighborhood. Recently, we were told that 20 donors, someone called Archipelago has gone to reveal where he stays. So now, because of his safety, he wants to relocate to another place. Safety needs, because everybody wants to be safe. That's for safety needs. Social needs, we call this one love and belongingness needs. And according to Maslow, social needs include love, acceptance, and belonging. Let's look at what Maslow did. You see, love is a higher need. Acceptance is a higher need. Belonging is a higher need. It means that if you don't even have, if you're able to meet your basic needs, how do you love? If you're able to meet your basic needs, how do you accept somebody and you be accepted? If you're able to meet your basic needs, how do you belong? You don't feel belong because these needs, once they're not met, you'll not be in the right frame of mind to even love. And so you go to some families, couples are fighting, because the man is not able to give job money. He's not able to provide basic needs in the house. So in the midst of poverty, it's difficult, but let's continue. At this level, the emotional relationship drives human behavior. So at that higher level, the need for emotional relationships drives human behavior. So you see, when you get into romantic relationship, it is at the higher need. When you're looking for acceptance, belonging, it's a higher need. So you don't just get up one day and say you love. It takes time. It should be nurtured. So some of the needs here are friendship, romantic attachments, family attachment, social groups, community groups, churches and religious organizations. All these will fulfill some form of our social needs. So please, when you have friends, when you belong to groups such as Psychohealth Consult, when you belong to community groups, when you go to churches and religious groupings, you are meeting some form of social needs. So when you isolate yourself, remember that you are causing trouble to yourself because it is a need and you have to be part of this. If your social needs are not met, you have a lot of mental and psychological problems. We'll get there very soon. Then I was making an analogy. You see, if you look at Maslow very well, Maslow plays sexual intimacy in social needs because there's a difference between sex and sexual intimacy. I ask this question. The prostitutes, they don't have sexual intimacy. They provide sex in a commercial form. They provide sex. But when it comes to sexual intimacy between husband and wife, in romantic attachment, it comes to the social needs. Because what happens here, there's a kind of bond, a kind of attachment in here. So I was saying that, fine, if sex is a basic need, just like food and water, that should be fulfilled, then people are selling sex out there. You are a prostitute, they are selling sex. You go in and for it. Okay? So I want to make the difference between that sex as a basic human need and sex as sexual intimacy. They are not the same. They're the same. And Maslow makes difference between the two. So social needs are very important. Under social needs, we talk of social support systems. If you have a very weak social support system, you are likely to have emotional needs. You are likely to have emotional problems. Anxiety will come in there. A whole lot of issues will come. We will soon get there. we'll soon get there. So, in order to avoid problems such as depression, loneliness, and anxiety, it is important for people to feel loved and accepted by other people. Now look at what's happening there. To avoid depression, loneliness, and anxiety, it's important for people to feel loved and accepted by others. But one thing that I want to say is this one. For you to be loved, you have to first love yourself. For you to be loved, you first have to love yourself. The measure you love yourself, the same measure that you want to love other people. If you don't love yourself, it will be very difficult for you to accept love or give out love. So please, let us love ourselves by treating ourselves well. Some of us are very wicked to our own selves. We don't love ourselves. We don't treat ourselves well. So we do things that will not advance our course of life. There are things we do. So personal relationship with friends, family, and lovers play an important role, as does involvement in other groups that might include religious groups, sports, teams, book clubs, and other group activities. So we are saying that we will need to join. Let's join social clubs. Let's join religious groups. Let's join these activities. They have a lot to offer our lives. They can help us to improve our lives. Don't let us isolate ourselves from human communities. There's one author called Thomas Merton. He said, "No one is an island." Aristotle also said that man is a social animal. Man is a social animal. By virtue of our humanness, we pull towards each other. We need ourselves. I need you, you need me. So let's not make gods out of ourselves. Let's not become tin gods ourselves. Let's reach out to other people and let others reach out to us. Let's make ourselves available and let's support ourselves on this journey of life. Esteem needs. At the fourth level in Maslow's hierarchy is the need for appreciation and respect. Please, this is very important. Appreciation and respect. So when the needs at the bottom three levels have been satisfied, the esteem needs begin to play a more prominent role in motivating behavior. At this point, it becomes increasingly important to gain the self-respect and appreciation and respect and appreciation of others. So you first have to respect yourself, appreciate yourself. Nemo that code non-habit. No one gives what he or she does not have. Respect yourself, appreciate yourself, and from that you respect others and appreciate others. Others will respect you, others will appreciate you. If you respect yourself, it will be difficult for you to respect other people. If you appreciate yourself, it will be difficult for you to appreciate others. There are some people who don't even accept their personalities. They don't even accept their figure. Oh, me, I'm too dark. I'm too short. I am too fat. That is you. That is you. If you're a mango and you want to be an apple, it's not possible. This is who you are. Be proud of who you are and better yourself. Appreciate yourself. Respect yourself. That is it. So people have a need to accomplish things and they have their efforts recognized. So in addition to the need for feelings of accomplishment and prestige, esteem needs include such as self-esteem and personal growth. So please, that word, self-esteem, is very important. If you have high self-esteem, it helps your personal development. Low self-esteem will cost you a lot. Low self-esteem will cost you a lot. You have low self-esteem, when you don't appreciate who you are, when you don't respect yourself, you don't have the confidence of yourself, you have low self-esteem. We'll get there one day. So, if you have esteem needs, what do? You participate in professional activities. You go in for academic accomplishment. You go in for athletic team participation and personal hobbies. These all play a role in your esteem needs. Some of us, we don't care. We don't go out for anything. We are just there. We are just existing. Thank God. I didn't choose someone you would do your home. You will not enjoy life. You are only existing. You are not living. Life is meant to be lived, not just exist. And so, to meet your esteem needs, please develop yourself professionally. Pursue your academic dreams. Join some athletic team participation. Do some personal hobbies and all those things. They're saying that people who are able to satisfy their esteem needs by achieving good self-esteem and the recognition they need, they tend to feel confident in their abilities. So if you achieve these ones, you tend to be confident in your own abilities. Some people are not confident of themselves. They have all the potentials, they have all the abilities, they are not confident. And so they will require into their shells. Let's take note of that. So those who lack self-esteem and the respect of others can develop feelings of inferiority. Feelings of inferiority. Our time is almost up, so please, if the thing goes off, you will join us, please. Only 40 minutes, we have only a few minutes to go off. So it goes off, you quickly rejoin. So together, the esteem and social levels make up what is known as the psychological needs of the hierarchy. So for now, we have spoken about the physiological needs, the safety needs, spoken about the social needs, and we have spoken about the esteem needs. And as a pyramid, they build on each other. And we're saying that all these needs are very important. So let's not joke with them. Let's not joke with these needs. And we have also looked at some of the things that constitute the various needs. What we can see in the basic needs, what we can see in the safety needs, what we can see in social needs, and what constitutes self-esteem. When we come back, we'll look at self-actualization needs. Then we'll also look at what happens when these needs are not met. Thanks so much. We'll go off and come back. Bye. We'll see you in the next session. Bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Bye. God bless you.
Please rejoin.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So please rejoin.